After a slew of lead changes throughout the final frame, Karl-Anthony Towns found his famed shooting touch, 4 for 5 in the fourth quarter, and come through in the clutch with 20 second-half points to help stake Minnesota to a Game 4 win 105-100. Anthony Edwards put his stamp on the first half with 17 of the team's first 35 points, and the Wolves worked through foul trouble and closing demons. Edwards, 29 points and 10 rebounds, and Towns, 25 points and 5 rebounds outdueled their more celebrated Dallas counterparts, while Mike Conley, 14 points and 7 assists, supplied first-half firepower in the win. Dallas' Luka Doncic 28 points, 15 rebounds, and 10 assists carried his team in the opening impressively again, while Kyrie Irving had his first subpar game of the series, 16 points and 4 assists. Without rim-running big Derek Lively, neck sprain, they started both Daniel Gafford, 12 points, 8 rebounds, and 3 blocks, and PJ Washington, 10 points and 5 rebounds, and struggled out of the gates with 4 for 17 shooting. In a physical opening quarter that looked more like a Cowboys-Vikings tilt, the Wolves switched out McDaniels and Edwards onto Doncic and Irving from possession to possession. Undeterred by the increased physical contact that the referees allowed, Doncic hit 2 threes. Gobert figured prominently on both ends of the action. Edwards initiated the Minnesota offense from different spots on to better diversify his attack, and the team went up 10. Dallas backup guards helped the team draw closer, and despite Edwards' high-scoring quarter, the Wolves clung only to a 27-20 advantage. Mike Conley's score sandwiched a 9-0 Mavericks run to start the second period. Dallas reserve Dante Exum hit 2 right-side threes to help reduce the Wolves' lead rapidly. After the spigot went dry on Minnesota's offense, the Mavericks took the lead late in the half with Doncic primarily as facilitator. Dallas benefited from double-figure free throw attempts and drawing numerous fouls on the Wolves throughout. Though the offenses again stalled out in the waning moments, the Mavericks were satisfied heading into the break tied. The Mavericks seemed shot out of a cannon in the third with Doncic scoring and setting up others. Despite getting scores from Towns and McDaniels, Edwards resorted to passing out of trouble and airmailed a pass well over McDaniels. Despite his offensive success, Towns picked up 2 more fouls, plowing into 2 Mavericks defenders. Despite his offensive success, Towns picked up 2 more fouls, plowing into 2 Mavericks defenders. Towns did spearhead an 8-0 run, and Dallas struggled to respond. Minnesota went into the fourth up 5 after a 3 from Nickeil Alexander-Walker and Edwards' buzzer beater. Observations. The point differential between the two teams after 4 games is Dallas +8. I had a chance, along with several dozen fans looking for autographs and selfies, to follow Bill Walton to the Hall of Famer player entrance at the Mohegan Sun in 2022 during Manu Ginobili's enshrinement weekend, but decided against it, as it looked like each tough step he took carried the weight of his many surgeries. Mr. Walton did find the right way to say Tim Duncan's name with the proper gravitas, as evidenced in this wonderful montage from the Spurs' 110-82 win over the Lakers in 2003 West Semis Game 6. His voice is heard throughout the broadcast, and he seemed to secretly enjoy that San Antonio victory as much as we fans did. Edwards would benefit from watching film of the downhill action of Manu Ginobili along with later career Tony Parker footwork and paint maneuvering in the off-season. Towns must lead in the incredibly what was he thinking fouls count. He picked up 2 in succession in the first quarter, and then his third on a loose ball foul where he was clearly boxed out. His 5th foul happened midway through the crucial third period. Irving's ability to finish with his left hand is better than most guards' ability to use their right. On Minnesota's first possession, Edwards committed the Lonnie Walker the 4th out-of-bounds violation, but McDaniels and Towns hit their first attempts. To no one's surprise, Dallas' first makes came from Irving and Doncic. Edwards' 3 buckets came from different spots around the court, and Gobert's awkward Euro-step transition layup put the Wolves up 4. Many Mavericks possessions resembled rough-looking sequences. Edwards' 3 pushed the lead to 10, but the Mavericks' quarter was salvaged by 3s from Green and Hardy. As a result, Dallas' deficit was trimmed to 7. After Conley's 3, Irving ignited the Mavericks' first real push, while Exum took the baton to eat into the Minnesota lead. Doncic matched 3s with Edwards, and the teams continued to struggle finding any footing inside the arc on offense. Derrick Jones, Jr.'s pair of 3s, from jockey-level passes from Doncic, tied the game. Alexander Walker got his first points on a corner 3, but Edwards, Towns and Gobert sat with 3 fouls as Doncic methodically drew several of them. The teams exited the half knotted at 49. Knowing that the Wolves needed scoring from him, Towns drove forcefully to the basket to earn a layup. Doncic's 2-man game with Gafford continued to garner Dallas plentiful scoring. Gobert got into it with Jones, Jr. and they were assigned double technicals. Towns' second layup and one and Edwards' knifing layup put Minnesota back in the lead, but Towns inexplicably picked up his 5th foul jumping into PJ Washington on a shot attempt. Edwards' steal and transition dunk put his team up 4, and the teams went scoreless over the next 3 minutes. Hardy's electric dunk was answered by Alexander Walker, and Hardy's bucket was answered by Edwards' jumper. Minnesota held on to a 78-73 lead exiting the